Welcome back. This is Chapter 2.
Yep, of APEisode 52 of You Should Know This Song. Let's go.
I have a bean enchiladas for you.
I love it.
And you're going to love it. I'm going to deliver this.
I'm disappointed I didn't get that Bruce Springsteen ask that I was supposed to get. Or, yeah, which was,
Randy Newman. How would you like to be the boss for a while? And you do know that song. You'll have to listen to it.
I'll have to listen to it.
Yeah.
It did not come to mind. It hasn't come to mind. So.
All right.
Okay.
You should know these mixed up lyrics.
Okay, my clue is, since Vince came around, there's been owls puking in my bed. Oh, wait a minute. Since Vince came around, there's been... Oh, I can just feel it fitting in. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my God. Oh, the Beach Boys. There's been owls puking in my bed. Since Vince came around, there's been owls puking in my... Help me, Rhonda.
Yes. What's the real line?
Oh, wait. Now I'm only hearing since Vince came around, there's been owls came around.
Oh, I love it.
Want to lay in bed. What is it?
Since she put me down, I've been out doing in my head.
Out doing in my
Which
head.
I imagine means drink. Yeah. Help Me, Rhonda. Beach Boys, written by Brian Wilson and Mike Love, 1965, from Summer Days and Summer Nights, in parens.
What would you do if an owl puked in your bed?
I would...
First off, would it be a pet owl or did it
I
come
would
in
probably
the window?
move. If there are owls in my
That
house...
seems like it would be a bad omen.
They are predators, so I would, yeah. They
Seems like it'd be a bad omen. Okay. Am I up? Is it my turn?
You are up.
Can I go ahead and...
What do you got for me?
This is straight up. I want it on the playlist. You're not going to know it. Well, I don't know.
It's a primes?
It's a prime. You might know the song, but you're not going to... I don't think you're going to guess it. Anyway, the lyrics are so cool. So cool. Here's your clue.
The buzz of electric lamplight from down on the sidewalk. You struggle, grasp your nightshirt and turn. But the universe doesn't say what you want it to say. The universe says just what it says when it says what it says.
Does that ring a bell at all?
It rings a bell, but I'm not getting it. You struggle, grasp your nightshirt and turn. So it's got to be a British band.
No, they're actually like a California surf punk band.
Okay.
They're little known. I'm not going to torture you and everybody out there. There are a handful of people who will know it because the song was on the soundtrack to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game.
Really?
I
wouldn't know that.
I
wouldn't know that from that reference.
The early 2000s, late 90s. But the band is the Ernies. Actually, I think Ian and I, your son, talked about this song and this band many months ago, and I think he remembered the song. The song is called Here and Now, and you got those little songs in your life, in your mind, that are just, they get your blood pumping, and you just can't play them enough and get sort of exhilarated by them or whatever. They get the adrenaline going just hearing them, and this is one of those songs. I mean, it just turns me on every time I hear it. And the lyrics are so worth paying attention to. Like, it's worth playing the song. So if this gets a song into two people's heads who hadn't thought about it before and they start playing it, then mission
It's
accomplished.
worth it to you?
The Ernies, 1999, written by Justin Curry and Ian Harvey off of their album Mason Ray. And that's my cramming it onto the playlist, cramming it into everybody's mind effort. What do you got?
I have a prime for you, and it may be confusing because it's my understanding that there were different sets of lyrics to this song, whether it was a UK release or a US release. And so some of the lyrics are a little bit different. They're noticeably different, but the meaning is the same.
Yeah, they're not greatly different.
Right, but I think that it may be slightly confusing because of that for you. So
Okay.
But you definitely know the song. The lyrics might seem a little off, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I see. So which are you giving me the lyrics to the U.S. or the...
I don't think I'm going to tell you that.
All right, my lyric challenge is, and this is just a straight prime.
This is a straight prime.
I've lost my silver razor, my club room locker keys.
And those specifically are lyrics that are different in both versions.
Forgot my 6-string razor. No.
No. Nice try, though.
What's my next line? Says vous plaise. That's my good French going on there.
I got your good French.
Up on that. The next clue is the money in the waistcoat. It doesn't bother me. I've lost my silver razor, my clubroom locker keys. The money in the waistcoat. It doesn't bother me.
You've got the rhythm exactly right.
Money in the waistcoat. It doesn't bother me.
And both of those lines are different in the two different versions.
Huh. The money in the waistcoat. It doesn't bother me is ringing a bell. Clubroom locker keys is not. But I don't know it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get it.
Yeah, it's Goodbye Girl.
Really?
From Cool for Cats by Squeeze.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the money in the waistcoat, it doesn't bother me. Isn't that very similar to the line in the song?
Yeah,
anyway.
It might have been Money in the Wallet.
Yeah. That's cool. And now I'm hearing the whole thing.
That's why we do it.
Yeah.
All right, so the little note I have.
love that song.
By the way, that's Squeeze, Till Brookens Differed, 1978. Goodbye Girl notably features a percussive track arranged by drummer Gilson Lavis, which featured a unique array of bottles, tins, and other items. Tilbrook commented, Gilson's influence on the arrangement was massive, not bringing in the drums until the third verse. Gilson had 4 percussive parts that he overdubbed, one after the other, that went throughout the song. Dilford offered similar praise, saying, Gilson constructed a washing line of bottles and bits of metal and tin and played them instead of the drum kit. It was a very inventive thing to do, slightly surreal, but it worked a treat. I love it when Brits say things like that.
Yeah, worked a treat.
It also features their trademark octave apart vocals.
There you go, octave apart vocals.
That goes back to our discussion about octave apart harmonies.
Yes.
And technically, octave apart harmonies are not a harmony because it's not 2 different notes.
They're the same note
At 2 different places, an octave apart. And a harmony, by its very nature, is the juxtaposition of 2 different notes. So, and this is argued about on the web, like amongst music theorists. I followed a little rabbit hole here. Okay,
Sure.
This is a thing. Like, this is one of those. Oh, it's not that. It can't be that because the definition is this.
Right.
This is your silly little internet arguments.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
real people who understand music theory, who know what the fuck they're talking about, are going, no, that's not harmony.
Right.
They're the same note. It can't be a harmony.
You're wrong.
Exactly.
You're wrong. Right. I know what it is. I'm educated. That's hilarious. I guess I haven't listened closely enough. I guess I've always just enjoyed it and not given it enough thought, but I am familiar with it. And when you referenced it, I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of what Squeeze says. But that has always sounded to me like one person just singing a lower sort of continual note, not very varying, and certainly not varying with the lead singing melody. You know what I mean?
So I would imagine if it was 7 spaces apart instead of 8, and they did the exact same thing, stayed a half tone off, that would be harmony. But the fact that it's 8 spaces apart and it's the same note, even though it's an octave lower, it's the same note, and quote, blah, 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 like we already said.
So it's not technically harmony.
Right. Isn't that weird?
I love it. Very cool. And now I've got the bass line from that song going in my head and all that. So it's my turn, ain't it? I'm going to do a quick hit.
All right.
Not unrelated to Prime, I know, but just got a whole bunch of stuff I want to get out there. So here is your clue. You should know this song, and you probably will right off the bat.
Leaves, my clue is, leaves are falling all around, time I was on my way. You got another one?
I do. I thought you would have gotten that. Presto pronto. Like, here's your next one.
Thanks to you, I'm much obliged. I don't know what this is. It's not coming to mind.
Such a
pleasant stay. I don't know. What is it?
Ramble On by Led Zeppelin. But now it's time for me to go. Autumn moon lights my way. Now I smell the rain with the pain, and it's headed my way.
I remember.
Getting it?
I got it. Absolutely.
Sorry for singing it.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's what you do, man. It's why we love you.
This is one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs. So it's in there for everybody else to enjoy or not, but it's in there one way or the other. Ramble On, Led Zeppelin, written by Page and Plant, 1969, off of Zeppelin 2 album. I don't have any special funky background or anything, just I'm getting it in there. It's getting on the playlist.
Cool.
Or it's getting in people's minds and ears.
Right now. Whether they go to the playlist or not.
And hearts.
Well, I have a starting lines for you, sir.
Please do. My clue is V, the letter V. It's That's what I'm supposed to work with. My clue is, how many days has it been since I was born? How many days until I die? I know this song.
You do.
And my mind is working up the answer. You gave me another clue. Do I know any ways that I can make you laugh, or do I only know how to make you cry? That is not what I thought it was. How many days has it been since I was born? How many days until I die? That line is so familiar.
Yeah. How many days?
Since I was born. Man, I am batting 1,000 here.
That is Leon Russell and the Shelter People doing Stranger in a Strange Land.
Huh. I am certain I've heard it because, you know, used to listen to Leon Russell.
Yeah.
And play the albums and all that.
Written by Leon Russell and Don Preston, 1971. The album hit number 17 on the Hot 200 or album chart. The Shelter People, referenced in the song, the album title, are the session musicians for Shelter, the label that was founded by Russell and Denny Cordell in 1969.
Oh, nice.
Because
Nice.
it intrigued me, like, why are they Shelter People?
Yeah,
What does that
what's
mean?
the Shelter People? It sends you to a different place mentally.
Yes.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
I had put it out of my head. That is another artist that my mom super got into in my teens. She was a Leon Russell fan.
Well, and of course now it's on the playlist.
Si. Bueno.
All right. What do you got there, sir?
Okay, it's my turn. I'm claiming it.
Do it.
And there's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to do, I think, the most overlooked Ask and Ye Shall Deceive cheap shot that could ever exist, like that exists in music, period. So this is your Ask and Ye Shall Deceive, you should know this song.
Who are you going to call?
Who are you going to call?
I guess I'm going to call the Ghostbusters.
Yep. See, that one just should have been out there a long time ago. I don't even really want it on soundtrack, the playlist, but I was like,
But you had to use it, yeah.
That question is like, that's the Ask
the
and Ye
question,
Shall Deceive for the ages right there. That's the one. That was from the Ghostbusters soundtrack,
By?
which is the song Ghostbusters, a.k.a. I Want a New Drug, you might recall. Ray Parker Jr. did the Ghostbusters song and then got sued by Huey Lewis for ripping off
Oh, I don't remember that.
I Want a New Drug. And Huey Lewis won the lawsuit. They settled out of court, but Huey Lewis got his money.
music.
Yeah. Ray Parker Jr. insisting that was not the case, of course, but 1984 off the Ghostbusters soundtrack. And again, I don't necessarily even want it on the playlist, but I was like, that is the question. That's the ask right there. Okay. It was fun for me.
Good.
What do
It really
you got?
is all about making you happy. You know?
Let's do like a couple more and then meander.
Sure. So this is truly a Your Mother Should Know.
My mother should know this song.
Your mother should know this song.
Clue is, yes, I'm gonna love you, oh, oh. Yes, I'm gonna love you, oh, oh. Give me another clue. I'm not getting whatever rhythm and melody and all that that's supposed to pop into my head. Come on, let me hold you, darling. I know the song, 60s R&B.
More doo-wop than R&B.
Yeah, it's back there, but it's gonna take a long time to come out. What is it?
Yes, I'm gonna love you. Oh, oh.
Yeah.
Come on, hold me, darling.
Oh.
'Cause I'm
No.
the Duke of Earl.
Oh, it's the lead-in. Yes, it's a starting line.
Yep.
That is a crack up.
Yeah.
Duke.
Actually, it's not the starting line because the starting line is Duke, Duke.
Well, right, but the
No, there's actually lyrics in between. Written
Yeah.
by Gene Chandler,
Duke of Earl.
or performed by Gene Chandler, written by Gene Chandler, Earl Edwards, Bernice Williams.
No Duke in there
No Duke in there. Gene Chandler is the Duke. And
as the lead singer.
1961. The song originated for warm-up exercises by the Dukeys, a local doo-wop group, included Chandler, under his original name, Eugene Dixon, and Earl Edwards.
Huh.
There is an Earl in the story anyway.
But not a Duke.
Right, and that the Dukeys had already had some success on the R&B charts. The group would warm up singing do 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 do, just like that would be how they get their harmonies going, right? In different keys. On one occasion, Dixon changed the syllables he was singing to include Earl's name, and the chant generally became do 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 Duke of Earl. It kind of just fell out.
I was wondering if they
Yeah.
used it on the guy.
So they worked on the song with regular songwriter and mentor Bernice Williams, and then recorded it at the Universal Recording Studio Corporation in Chicago with other members of the Duquesnes. Musicians on the record include Floyd Morris on piano, Lefty Bates, Phil Upchurch, and Kermit Chandler on guitar, Al Duncan on drums, Cliff Davis and John Board on sax. However, the Duquesnes record label chose instead to release Night Owl, offering Dixon the option of releasing it as a solo artist. Having no idea they were stomping on their own stuff.
Yeah.
He changed his name to Gene Chandler, a surname taken from that of the actor Jeff Chandler, and the song was released at the end of 1961. Duke of Earl debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 charts in 1962 in January, quickly rising to become number one on both the pop and R&B charts.
Yeah.
Held a spot for 3 weeks and was on that Hot 100 list for a total of 15 weeks.
Very cool. That is a crack up.
I was shooting for stuff that your mother would actually have been your mother's
my mother
generation.
would actually have known that.
Right.
And I'm familiar with that part of the song, but
Right.
not thoroughly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's definitely, that would definitely have been a doo-wop that my mom would have listened to. So my mother would have known it, and she wasn't here to support me. So, once again.
Let me down again, man.
Okay, my turn.
Do it.
Got a starting lines for you.
All right. Let me get myself my proper starting lines.
Yes.
Mentality.
Get your starting lines preparation done. Here's your starting lines clue, and you should know this song.
She's a witch of trouble? Mm-hmm. She's a witch of trouble.
In Electric Blue.
No.
Here's the next line after In Electric Blue.
And in her own mad mind, witchy woman.
Close.
Eagles.
Wrong band.
Who is it?
Wrong song.
What is
it? Come on, it's in there. In her own mad mind, she's in love with you.
Oh, yeah, no, I had the... Although the lyrics do fit in the other song. The lyrics do fit in the other song. Strange Brew.
Yes.
By Traffic?
Cream.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of those supergroups. I don't know.
Yeah. Wanted that song on the list, too. The guitar riff. Oh, my gosh. So cool. The beat of it, the whole thing, and the lyrics and the vocal melody. And, I mean, I could just go on.
Now, Jack Bruce was normally the singer of Cream.
Yes.
But that's not him.
That's not him. That's, I believe that's Clapton singing.
Okay. Yeah, I would think so.
Written by Gail Collins, Felix Papayardi, who you're familiar with from Mountain and some other things. He had a pretty interesting behind the scenes of music
jumping around, being in all
thing
kinds of stuff.
Too. He's worth going to investigate. And Eric Clapton also wrote that 1967 off of the fantastic Disraeli Gears album. And the album title, Disraeli Gears, was just a little, side note, a corruption by Cream's roadie, Mick Turner, of a description of racing bicycle gears known as derailleur gears. Benjamin Disraeli was a 19th century British prime minister, hence he confused the two.
How cool and
blended
weird.
the two together.
That is rock and roll.
That's rock and roll. So they heard him say the Disraeli gears on the bike weren't working right, and they were like, Disraeli gears, really?
That's cool. Let's use that.
Hey, that kind of sounds cool. Let's make it the album name. Odd little tie together. I just thought that was hilarious to hear.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, we've done a bunch of challenges.
Yeah.
Did you have some stuff you wanted to do?
We've got a few. By the way, that last little quip there about how the album name came about.
Where'd you get that info there, Reed?
Was derived from the thing you should consider donating to, and that is Wikipedia. Donate to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is under attack, folks. So support them. It's super important.
I already have this week.
Yeah, me too. And I'm not kidding.
Neither am I.
Okay, we wanted to take a little break and kind of revisit, as one of the things we made note that we wanted to do. We wanted to revisit kind of, since it's our 1 year anniversary and since possibly it could be the last show we do, or at least a break. How the hell did we even get here?
I woke up here today. I think you probably drove the van.
I drove here. Yeah.
In all honesty, and we've talked about it at length before, but it does...
But not for a very long time.
Does bear repeating. Reed and I have known each other for almost 30 years, thereabouts.
Yeah.
And we met working together at a local retailer, who shall remain nameless. And kind of hit it off right away. We were both in positions of some authority there, and we're in a lot of meetings together kind of thing.
Yeah. And worked in the same offices off and on for extended periods.
Right. Again, kind of both goofy, silly senses of humor. One day, Reed stuck his head in my office, opened the door. My office remained closed. I work on computers, and we need to keep the area clean. Yeah. So my door was always closed, unfortunately. And stuck his head in my office and sang a line from So You Are the Christ, from Jesus Christ Superstar. I believe it was something along the lines of... prove to me that you're no fool, walk across my swimming pool.
Yeah.
And he did it specifically because he knew that then I would have the entire fucking score in my head all day long. He was planting an earworm.
Yes, this was the game, the roots of the game.
Yes. And I believe that as memory serves, and again, it's been a long time ago and I'm an old man, so I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But that was the first time that happened. It wasn't the first time we talked about music or any of that, but it was the first time
it happened with intent.
Yes,
Right.
We had spoken about the show before Jesus Christ Superstar, so he knew that I am a nut for that show and that I knew all the lyrics, and he was intentionally dumping the score into my head.
Right. Dumping the earworm.
Yes.
On him.
And from there...
And it worked...
a treat.
It worked a treat. Right?
As the Brits like to say.
Immediately, it worked swimmingly, and so, we both knew what had happened, and so we both started just lobbing that kind of thing at each other, both challenges and irritations, like...
Yes.
Yeah.
Initially, I believe it was more irritation than
more
anything
irritation
else.
for sure, but then it was
find the craziest stuff you can and make him think about it all day.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't take too long. It's not too hard to imagine that it didn't take too long to recognize, hey, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Pop a song in somebody's head, whether you're, driving them nuts with like Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer,
right?
Or something cool, a great song to have be bopping around in your head. So then it morphed into. Like
text.
It morphed into text, but it also morphed into let's see if you know this song. Like,
oh yeah.
I think he probably should know this song, and if he doesn't,
he should
know this song.
Right.
You know what I mean? So way back then, it was still kind of the root of it was like most of it was like I would assume you know this song, right?
Right.
But if you don't, you should know this song.
Yeah, this is something that you'll dig.
Right.
I want
to get it into your awareness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it kind of developed from there, and then emails.
You ended up moving on job wise.
Yes.
And so it stopped being person to person.
Right.
And became email and then text.
Yeah.
And that's gone on for 25 plus years.
Yeah. The advent of proliferation of cell phones and texting enabled us to a few times a week just throw them at each other without needing to interrupt each other, sticking your head in the office or whatever. It really enabled the whole thing to continue.
Yeah.
So
the thing is that it's kind of honestly how we stayed connected as friends when we moved our separate ways work-wise.
Yeah, it is a lot of how
we continued to hang out with each other virtually, if you will.
Right. From a distance. Yeah, absolutely. So the texting aspect of it helped, keep it alive, so to speak, between us. I mean, it enabled it, but then as we kept it going, it occurred a couple of years ago. What we were doing continued to be like, we would send a lyric challenge, but then also send like a wiki page link to some interesting factoids.
Yeah, here's what I found out while I was doing
right, or we'd clip an article or this or that, or it was just a lot of good content, a lot of good discussion through text.
Right.
And, it was like hey, this is the material for a podcast. Why don't we just try doing a podcast?
Yeah, and I think there was a gathering here almost 2 years ago, year and a half ago, where we were doing this, and pretty much to the exclusion of everyone else that was there at the gathering. I don't know if that was the impetus, but it kind of, in my mind, and again, I want to make really clear that doing the podcast was Reed's fault. I mean, idea. So I don't want to speak for him.
Well, it came out of my mouth. But,
yes. So I'm not speaking for him. But for me, that kind of, like, that moment was kind of like, oh, there's something here.
Right.
It's
bigger than us. So what we have, and related to this, while we've done the podcast, and while I have a spreadsheet with still, like even this morning, I was still doing some preparation for this show.
Right.
And I was scrolling back to jotted note on literally spreadsheet line number 863. I'm not kidding. I've gotten up to about 300 of them used. So there's still like 500-ish song clues.
Raw clues.
Raw clues that haven't been introduced on the show. And also, this is always impressive for me to think about. And, it just speaks to how much music there is out there and how much great music there is out there and how much music any person has in their head. So I've got all those clues that haven't been used on the show. And most of them, certainly 95% of them, haven't been exchanged in our texts either.
Really?
I pulled the texts from all of 2023, and they're going to be dropped into
The website and the blog, probably.
Right, in the blog, in their text-based form, and they're only the challenges. I didn't put the answers in there.
Right.
And there are 100, maybe more, that I was able to scrape out of the text threads from 2023. And they're not really too many of them that are
obscure,
that are in the list that I keep or that I remember us having used on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's so much music that you know and that you love and that you enjoy and that's in your head.
And that the majority of you can share with people you know and they'll know it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like they're just
It's in the
songs
common,
that will ring in your head, you know?
gestalt will.
Yeah. Yeah. So look forward to, I didn't mean to tie this in, but it is a good place to put it because I meant to mention it at least. Look forward to checking the webpage for those clues, a huge list of clues to songs, and maybe you can have some fun with them at a party or something, or maybe you can just comment on them and send your guesses into the, we'll still monitor
absolutely.
the websites and what have you.
And along those lines, I kind of have an intent as time allows, because the hiatus is brought on by a time constraint.
Yeah.
But as time allows, to continue to put out playlists based on that information and stuff that's on your list and stuff that's on my list that hasn't
And
been
we're
used.
for sure going to still do text exchange,
Yes.
challenges.
So I guess what I'm saying is that while we might not be able to continue to do the episodes as we're doing them right now for some time, we're going to continue to put stuff out there
Right.
for y'all to enjoy, all three of you
All three.
to go listen to. And I will say this again, and I've said this recently, is there hasn't been, and I'm not complaining at all, I'm just noting, there hasn't been a lot of activity on listening to the playlists, not anywhere near as much as there has been on the podcast.
Right.
And the podcast numbers haven't been spectacular,
Right.
right?
It's not-
So
it's not
a
a
low
lot in
number
either
on the,
case.
I mean, there are 50 playlists out there now, 51 playlists out there now.
Correct.
And there probably haven't been 50 listens overall.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm not tooting my own horn here. It's merely a function of chance.
Yeah.
But some of the playlists are really pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I'll
Cool to listen to.
I'll put them on when I'm mowing the lawn or doing the dishes or whatever.
Right.
Of course, it's all music that I like already because half of it came from me, right?
Right. Out
And
of your
from
head.
you, and you and I share tastes.
Yeah.
For variety, for sheer
experience. Right.
It's cool stuff. It's fun.
Right. Increasing your own, library and awareness.
One of the friends of the show, Matt. He's a musician locally. He's worked a little bit with us, and we've shared some information about his band. And he actually provided a table to us to put some merchandise on at an event he was working.
at a recent music festival.
At a music festival. He sent me a text this morning that was a picture, a photograph of what I'm assuming is most of his CD collection. And
really?
He said, I don't know if you can blow this up enough to see it or not, but I'm going to be working all day. Pick 5 discs out for me to listen to while I'm working, which was a kind of very cool.
Yeah.
In that he reached out to me in that,
Right.
And I picked 5, and then he sent me back.
You'll recognize stuff from in here, and I trust your
right,
taste.
exactly.
Sort of,
And I'm looking for something different than usual, is kind of what he was saying. But he sent me back, he said, I picked the 5 I thought you might pick, and showed me a picture of those 5. And there was one match.
Oh, good.
Of the 5.
Well, out of all those, that's cool.
Yeah. One of the things that he referenced, and I wanted to toss this out there simply because it's something of note, was the Morrison Hotel, so-called Morrison Hotel album from The Doors. I believe it's actually just called The Doors, but it's got a picture of the Morrison Hotel window on the front of the album.
Right.
And that Morrison Hotel very recently burned down in downtown L.A.
Right.
And that's kind of a thing.
Well, right.
A sad. I mean, aside from the loss, hopefully no one was hurt. I didn't go that far. I didn't look into it.
But it's an item identified in rock and roll history.
Yes.
That has been destroyed. That has fallen to fire. That's rock and roll.
It is rock and roll, unfortunately. Yeah.
Maybe it's
hopefully no one was hurt.
Poignant and whatever, but that's part of the whole thing there too.
Yeah, it's not all sex and drugs.
It's not all how I escaped with my life from near overdose and then went on to party. It's
Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison and Kurt Cobain.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, it's not cool, but it's a cool story. And it's cool information. And so that's how the show has evolved into what it is now and why we're doing it and all that stuff. And it's also why we're, we're not happy that we're finding ourselves in a position to put it on the shelf
for a while.
for a while. But that's why we're motivated to do it.
Right, absolutely. And it has been a lot of fun, not just this, but the 30 years. I mean,
Yeah, a whole 30
a
years.
lot of
It's
entertainment
been- right.
there. So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that's boring.
I know a lot of people who are into music, have huge album collections and what have you, who I share common musical taste with, not even in your,
Wheelhouse.
and maybe this whole thing that occurred to me, it just popped into my head, speaks to having 6 followers and 2 listeners. But, I've kind of tried feeble attempts, but, just test the waters and see if anybody else will catch on.
Right.
And I really haven't been able to get anybody to. I've had other people
Respond and send you requests. And,
respond to my challenge,
okay.
and I've sent them a few challenges and sort of tried to explain. Now you send me one. Essentially, think
Right.
of some lyrics from a song and see if I know it, and just hasn't gotten any traction. You know what I mean? Like,
I've got a couple people that'll regularly send me stuff.
Yeah.
But not with the regularity that you do, certainly.
Yeah.
So.
And even a little background, like I'll send something, a clue, and then a little background, a little information. Okay, we can pop a clue back and forth and trade a little information. You share something on the
Now
band
it's
or
much
the
more
artist
common.
with me or
It's
whatever.
much more common, in my experience, that it happens when we're together. Not you and I, but when I'm with other friends.
With other people.
We'll
and you're
sit and start talking about something, and hey, did you know? And I heard this then.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this is
yeah,
what-" that's real common.
And right, for me as well. That's a common thing too. Especially when people are like, "Oh, you got a podcast? You know about music? Hey, what do you know about?" And then they just start dumping. But it's kind of strange that it didn't pick. It's strange to me they didn't pick up with anybody else. In the text exchange format. So
It means that other people aren't broken the same way we are.
that's absolutely 100% true. Okay, I want to do a few more challenges.
Sure.
Yeah, let's get back to some gameage.
All right. I don't know
like
who
it.
went last, but I'm going next.
You're doing it. Hit it.
I got quick hits here.
Okay.
I love this album, this song, and this band. And you, sir, should absolutely know this song.
Oh, my lyric clue is, if you say hello and I take a ride on oh my gosh, it is right there.
It literally is right there on the page. The next
Oh,
line.
I had my eyes closed, squinting. Upon a sea where the mystic moon is playing havoc with the tide. Damn. Come on, brain. I thoroughly know this song. I love this song. Oh, come on. I'm just not pulling them out today. Where the mystic moon is playing havoc with the tide. What is it?
It's Don't Get Me Wrong
Oh,
by The Pretender.
Yep.
Chrissy Hynde wrote it. The album is Get Close. In 1986, it did, as all of the songs on my Quick Hits clue page, reached number 1.
Oh, is that your common thread?
That's my common
all
thread for
numero
all-
unos?
Yes. They were all
I didn't know
either,
that song reached number 1.
Well, the song didn't. The album did.
Oh, the album did.
Actually, that's not quite accurate. The song reached number 1 on the album tracks chart, which
I
is
see.
different than the pop chart.
And I didn't know that was a chart.
I didn't either until I read this. And
How many ways can you slice and dice it, kids?
Well, if you're Billboard, you gotta pay. You gotta
Yeah,
get paid.
that's
so
right,
you're finding
that's
out a
right.
bunch of different ways. The music video for the song is actually a tribute to the British 1960s espionage television series The Avengers,
Oh, I love that
with
show
Chrissy
when I was a
Hynde
kid.
playing Emma Peel,
Yeah.
searching for John Steele.
I do remember that video.
And he
now you
actually,
mention it.
he's not in the video, but there are shots of him from the show
Yes.
in the
right,
video.
Right.
But she's
That was
dressed
a
in the
great
with the
show.
leather boots and all that stuff,
Right.
peeking around corners and with
Yeah.
the I don't know what the haircut's called, but the Emma Peel haircut.
So I assume that actual show was as popular then in Britain, overseas as it
Probably
was
more
here.
popular
Right,
than it
probably
was here.
more.
Yes. I was in love with Emma Peel.
Oh my, who wasn't? Who wasn't? And John Steele was like the coolest, smoothest
Oh, yeah.
Brit guy
Yeah.
you would want to be, right?
If you've ever seen the movie The Kingsman,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
to me, the character that is the main character,
The John Steele, it's a takeoff.
it's a
Yeah,
takeoff, yeah. Or at least it pays homage to
Yes, right,
the John Steele character.
right. I agree.
So you didn't get that one
I
again.
didn't get another one. I think I'm like 1 for 10 right now. It's just pathetic. But it's so much fun. Okay, me.
It's all about you, Reed.
This is a quick hit, and you should know this song, and I'm just getting it on the soundtrack.
Sister Saying in Her Sleep. That's from,
Yeah?
hold on, I've got it. Our House
That's right.
by, who is it?
Oh, are you going to get it? Brother's got a date to keep. He can't hang around.
She's the one we're going to miss in lots of ways. I can't think of the name of the band.
Madness.
Thank you.
Madness,
That
1982.
is a cool song.
Yeah.
It is a cool video.
Yeah.
They were a cool band. I love that
It was a
tune.
cool era.
Yeah, I love that tune.
Right.
And it literally is just them talking about like how cool it was to be at home with the family when
Right.
they were a little kid.
Living around their house. The things that happened to chaos.
Our house.
Yeah. In the middle of our street. 1982, The Rise and Fall is the album. Written by Graham McPherson, Michael Barson, Cathal Joseph Smith, Lee J. Thompson, Daniel Mark Woodgate, Christopher John Foreman, and Mark William Bedford. Wow.
What a bunch of British people.
What a group of madness. And the song name, Our House Again. And I just, again, had to have, mine aren't number ones on charts or anything like that. They're just tunes that I'm like, I want that on the playlist. I want it out there. So, and there's so many of them to get out there. Okay, you.
I have an ask and ye shall deceive for you.
Okay.
It's not a well, it is actually.
It's not a multi-question.
It is a
asking you shall
multi-question.
deceive.
Who's not the kind of girl who gives up just like that?
Hold on. I hear this one. I am going to get this one. Damn it.
And what number does she want to be?
I'm not the kind of girl who gives up just like that. And that's the actual literal answer. And I want to be your number one because the tide is high.
There you go.
And I'm moving on. Blondie. Yes.
Yes.
What's the year? 87. I don't know. Just pull that out.
Well, which year? Because there were actually two bands that did that song.
I
Blondie
always wondered if that was a cover.
Blondie did that in 1980, and
So I was way off there.
yeah, and it was number one in the U.S. and the
Yes.
U.K. both. The Paragons
Paragons.
did it as a single in 1967. They were a whatever the precursor to reggae would have been.
Okay. Like a Jamaican
yes,
ska band or something.
something along those
something
lines.
along
Written by a gentleman named John Holt.
I never knew that was a cover.
Yes.
That's so great.
The original album for Blondie was called Auto American, in case I haven't already said that.
I wonder how I'm not the kind of girl. I wonder if they had a female lead singer.
Or maybe
the
he wasn't the
Paragons.
kind of guy.
Maybe he wasn't the kind of guy who gives up just like that.
Yeah.
Which, kind of makes sense too. That's cool. I did not know that was a cover. And now we'll get to experience the cover.
And you got one.
I got one. Woohoo! Happy 1 year anniversary, Reed. Okay, I'm going to do an ask
Okay.
for you.
All right.
Let's see. Who got down on his hands and knees? Question 1. And what did he ask Juanita to let him do?
Well, it was Small Chick Willie. And that is his
Spot
name?
Check.
Spot Check Willie.
Yeah.
Got down on his
you
hands.
Got that one.
Hey, baby. Hey, let me. I never did get the word. I don't know the word.
Check your oil. All right.
Check your oil. Okay. Oh, all right.
And she said,
No, honey.
no,
not tonight. Come
back Monday. So who's in the bathtub with the blues then?
There's a fat man
Fat man in the bathtub.
with the blues, and that's probably Spot Check Willie. I always assumed
maybe
he
so.
was. I always assumed he was with the blue in the fat man in the bathtub.
Willie got so sad, dejected, put on his boots and start to run.
running down the
Running
street.
down the street, yelling at the top of his lungs. God, I love that song. I just love that song. Can you tell by the big stupid smile on my face just thinking about it? Little Feat, written by Lowell George, 1973, off of Dixie Chicken.
Do you know my first exposure to Little Feat was the Waiting for Columbus live album?
You've mentioned that.
To me, all of those songs are just live songs. Like I've heard,
They are.
I've since heard them,
Right.
And I mean, it's pretty much all of their hits to that point are
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that album. Almost
And
everything on that album
that
was a
song
hit.
in particular, as much as I love it, and there are plenty of other, studio songs of theirs that I love. The live version is
But far and away,
right there. I mean, it's just like, okay, I'll listen to either one and be just as happy to listen
Yeah,
to either
yeah.
one. Yeah, Waiting for Columbus is just, we've talked about it probably ad nauseum, but it is a fantastic album.
And
And in fact, when this song popped into my head the other day, I went and I listened to both, one right after the other, the studio and the live version, because I just had to hear both of them.
sure, absolutely.
Anyway,
Well, you've got Tower Power Horns
Sure.
on that live album,
Right.
and they lend a lot to that album. As good as the songs are studio, there's a whole extra layer there
right.
with that horn section.
The beginning of that song on the live album with the dual drum kits and what have you and all the percussion going on is like I could almost listen to that for an extended period of time, not even like them soloing. They're just in that hook
Right.
You know, they just got that groove going. Then they just are adding little hints to it. And the cowbell is in there a little bit and some congos in the background. And it's just like, just honey to my ears.
Absolutely.
It's just great. Anyway, okay, it's you. It's you.
Good stuffs. All right, here's one. Here's one that didn't break. Sorry, that's a completely unrelated reference. I just started something else in my brain that I'm going to have to set aside for now and come back to later. This is a great, great album. I believe it was his first solo album. But this lyric, you definitely do know this song, whether it comes to mind or not. There you go. You should know this song.
Okay, lyric challenge is: the storm is breaking, or so it seems. We're too young to reason, too grown up to dream. Yeah.
These are just, and they're
Give me
great,
another line.
great lyrics.
Yeah,
Great
I love
lyrics,
this.
man.
Now spring is turning your face to mine. Yeah, I can hear your laughter. I can see you smile. Okay, come on, brain. I'm going to get a second one. They're not coming easy today. Man, they're not coming easy today. Spring is turning your face to mine. I can hear your laughter. I can see you smile. Oh, I know this song, and I love this song. My brain's not letting it through. I love this song. I know it. What is it?
It's Slave to Love by Brian Ferry.
Brian Ferry. Oh, my gosh. Now the spring is turning face to mine. Yeah.
And those lyrics, that particular set of lyrics in that song,
I love it.
They get me every time.
Yeah. I've always loved it.
And he has such a cool crooner voice.
He uses it so well in the song.
And in general, I mean, like, he does a version, and this just popped into my head, and it's going to end up on the playlist. He does a version of Jealous Guy by John Lennon. That's just right there. And it's all because of his ability to deliver the song.
Right.
So this was Slave to Love off of Boys and Girls, a solo album by Brian Ferry. Again, written by Brian Ferry, 1985. Just a little bit about...
This song was a hit, like a big hit for him.
Made it to number 10 on the UK charts. Yeah. The song features Neil Hubbard, Dave Gilmour, and it doesn't say David Gilmour. It says Dave Gilmour. And I'm not sure if it's the David Gilmour that we know.
Sure.
And
Pink
Keith
Floyd
Scott
is.
on lead guitar, Dire Straits' Guy Fletcher on keyboards, Omar Hakim on drums, and Tony Levin on bass guitar. And this is a little bit about Brian Ferry. You know, at one time he was considered the most eligible bachelor in Britain.
I did not know this.
Yeah. He was a sartorial superhuman. Like, he was all about the dress, the clothing, and not in a David Bowie kind of way. In a, I'm going to dinner at the Queen's kind of way.
Sure.
Always impeccably dressed. Suit, tie, cummerbund, whatever, bow tie, everything. Ascot.
Right. At all. Right.
In 2005.
Refined gentleman type.
In 2005, GQ presented Brian Ferry with its Lifetime Achievement Award, deeming him Pop's original art school Bobby Dazzler.
Wow.
Like,
so
this guy was recognized
and
for
weird.
This rock and roll musician was recognized by GQ for being one of the best dressed men.
Right, being a best dresser.
Yes,
Right.
Yes, which is kind of silly and over the top, but at the same time, he went to fashion school.
Right.
Like, at one point, he took over the art direction for all of the album covers and album artwork. The art design was a thing.
Was his thing.
Was his thing.
Right. That was his thing.
And they were really, I did a little deep dive on this, which I'm not going to share here, oddly enough.
Although you can go to Wikipedia.
Yes, and that's where I was going to go. I went to Wikipedia and a couple of other places and looked up some cool stuff about Roxy Music and Brian Ferry. They were one of those bands that if you didn't know them and then all of a sudden you found out about them, you're like, oh, I got to hear everything by them.
Yeah.
We all know Love is the Drug.
Sure.
You know, that's one that
Their
was
seminal kind of thing.
That was their big hit, their biggest hit, if you will. Although I'm sure my sister's going to reach out and say, that's not their biggest hit.
It's not their big. Technically.
There's some very, very cool stuff. And if you don't know more than Love is the Drug, you really need to find out.
Yeah,
there's some great music there.
They threaded through some scenes and some happenings and some rock history.
And I can think of a half dozen songs right now that I'd like to play. That I'd like to hear right now.
Right, put on the playlist right now. Yeah, absolutely. Cool, that's a good one. I like it. I am just so pissed off at my brain for not letting me have that one because
I'm
definitely
happy as
know
can
that
be about
song.
the whole damn thing.
I know that song. Okay, I'm going to do a bean.
Oh, I'm surprised it took so long.
Yeah, I'm going to do a bean for you here that I think is going to go over pretty well. So let's just see what happens.
Well,
see if I'm wrong.
Okay, yeah. Remember what you're dealing with here.
Okay, here's your first clue.
The smile on your face the moment you reach that itchy place. Jesus Christ. I want to say the song is Backstabbers.
But the bean enchilada name of the song is this.
Back Scratchers.
The Back Scratchers. Back Scratchers.
They smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place.
Yes.
Is the original lyric.
That's
there.
correct. And you know the band, of course.
I do. Wait, hold on. I don't? Is Spinners?
OJ's.
OJ's.
I thought you would have that one right off the top of your head. Backstabbers, 1972. Off the album The Backstabbers, Gene McFadden, John Whitehead, and Leon Huff combined to write that gem. That was a great song. Such a good song. And I could have some fun writing and almost decided to just go ahead and
write the whole
plow
song.
out the rest of the lyrics, and I was like, that's a little overboard. But that would be a great spin on that song. Okay, what do you got?
I'm going to do another. I'll do a beans for you here. I've got several good ones that I've saved for you. Knowing your love of this, I actually really enjoyed putting them together. Here you go. You should know this mixed up, funked up version of this song.
I should know this stupidity. I'm bleeding inside. I've got a seepage. That is just funny anyway. I don't know why. I'm bleeding inside. I've got a seepage.
It's and I've got seep, and it does make a difference.
I'm bleeding inside, and I've got seepage, and I've got secrets? I'm not putting it together. I'm bleeding inside, and I've got seepage. Got another line?
No. How about if I said, I'm bleeding inside, and I've got seepage?
I'm bleeding inside. And I've got nope.
It's I need you tonight.
Oh,
because I'm not
I'm
sleeping.
Bleeding inside. Okay, I get it.
Okay,
that's hilarious.
And
I've got seepage.
I am specifically referencing the version that I heard by Bonnie Raitt.
What?
She does a cover of In Excess's
No
Need You Tonight.
way.
Yes, written by Andrew Ferris and Michael Hutchins. Bonnie Raitt had a recording released in 2016 on the Dig In Deep album, and I wanted to get that version on the. It's good.
I'll be dying to hear that.
Yeah,
Who knew?
She rocks it, and it sounds like the song.
Right,
but
right.
It's a Bonnie Raitt tune when you hear her do it. Yes.
Right, she owns it. Oh, I'm dying to hear that. That is so.
And she's got such she can do that. She can do that sultry, sexy thing with her voice. You know.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, it's good. I can hear it. I mean, I think it's going to be great. I'm so excited.
And that's the end of this chapter. We'll continue this episode in the next chapter.
Yeah. Little break.